Few Second World War stories hold the power of the Dambusters raid, the bravery of the men, the brilliance of the bouncing bomb, the absolute best of Britain and its allies. In May 1943, the men of 617 Squadron flew Lancaster Bombers from RAF Scampton in Lincolnshire on a mission to destroy dams at the heart of Germany. Causing catastrophic damage to the Nazi war machine, Operation Chastise catapulted 617 to international fame, particularly Wing Commander Guy Gibson, who was just 24.
Wing Commander Guy Gibson, on whom the Queen bestowed the Victoria Cross.
He famously said the squadron will either make history or be completely wiped out. Immortalised in the 1950s film, 617's exploits are a tale that Brits never tire of telling. But the men in the story are all gone. The last surviving raider, Johnny Johnson, died in December. Here he is speaking in 2018.
Always the uppermost thing in my mind was the dams raid. That had to be the outstanding part of the whole of my career.
Inventor Barnes Wallis, who created the bouncing bomb, is celebrated as one of the war's greatest minds. A prototype is displayed at the Petwood Hotel in Woodhall Spa. It became 617's home after the dams raid.
This is a beautiful picture of a snowball fight between 617 and 627 squadrons.
Edward Mear is the hotel's historian.
Coming as they did from ordinary, sometimes terraced homes in industrial cities. And to come here, it was already like a palace to them. And they really did feel as though they'd, and I quote them, died and gone to heaven. But of course the following evening, that's probably what a lot of them did.
53 men died in the raid. They're remembered at the 617 memorials in Woodhall High Street. Chris is part of the Squadron Association. His dad, John, joined 617 after the raid, flying missions on D-Day and Fortress Europe.
He tended to keep very quiet with the family, but he was involved in squadron reunions.
Chris says his dad spoke highly of the Dambuster men.
He was in awe of them. They were doing something which had never been done before in creating that sort of attack.
To mark the 80th anniversary, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight will fly a Lancaster above wartime bases, including the historic Dambusters' home, Scampton. Recently, a government plan to house up to 2,000 asylum seekers at the old base has been met with backlash from locals and politicians. Back at the memorial, Chris says we must never forget what the men of 617 did in the raids.
I think it's important that we remember this anniversary and anniversaries to come, because of the bravery of these men.
617 still flies in the Air Force. The pilots inside the cockpits are different, but the courage inspired by the Dambusters is still there.
They are sure to be remembered in all histories of the war. They did a magnificent job.
Will Hollis, GB News in Lincolnshire.